I must thank sorry. I must thank IREPAS for inviting me over. Though in a short notice, I have been able to assemble some facts and figures. And you pardon me if I can't give you the exact figures for 2013. But looking at the present scenario or the sort of additional facilities that have come up and the requirement that has gone up, most of the data of 2013 would be also implicated in 2014 also. The MEPS, which is an analyst, they have shown that if you can see the growth over here, sorry, which is the pointer? Below. Sorry. As you can see, the growth in capacity as well as the growth in demand are more or less matching. So what I wanted to say that the trend to get more imports will be there for every year. Similarly, in case of North Africa, the same trend also is expected. Now, in 2013, the total crude steel production that took place was 35 million tons against 32 million tons in the previous year. So that's about a 9% increase in the total tonnages produced. This is this is an old slide, but you can see that MENA is one of the largest importers with 44 million tons coming out and only about 1 million ton going out as exports from there. This has not changed over the last year, principally because the amount of imports are remaining the same as the production capacity increases is just being matched with the requirements of the additional requirements every year that's taking place. And for a couple of number of years, I think it will remain in the same region of 44 million tons of imports and 1 million ton of exports in that regime. This is an older slide which again shows the imports that are coming into the country. And the trend is similar also in 2013, with Turkey slightly coming down because there has been more local content of the material so far as rebars are concerned. If you go to the next slide, which gives you a description, you can find that about restricting ourselves to the semis and the longs, you'll find that about 16 million tons of longs are being imported into it, and the semis are about 10 million tons, which is billets and hot roll coils. So there is a huge amount of shortfall in the semis production, and that's where a lot of re-rollers are available in this MENA region who are using the semis from either Ukraine, China, and CIS countries and Russia to do their things. The additional capacities that are expected is quite huge in this region. About 23 million tons are expected to be completed by 2014. Of course, some projects are getting definitely deferred. The major part is coming from Iran. As you can see, 13.9 million tons, of which 1.9 million tons are going to be from the blast furnace route. The rest, most of the countries are going for the gas route for DRI production. And in this capacity increase, you'll find only 2.7 million tons is what is being considered for flat products, and the rest is all coming in the long products. Because of the huge construction that is taking place in this region, the requirement of long products are increasing quite drastically. I give some figures for the GCC because I have not been able to really get the details for MENA, just to show the imports that has come in, and this imports in 2012 were amounting to, from these countries, mainly Turkey, Ukraine and Russian Federation, came to 8.4 million tons, but the billets came down to 7.5 million tons in the previous year. So new capacities of about 1 million ton and more has come in to take care of the additional tonnages that are required for conversion into rebars. Whereas in the case of rebars, you will only find that it's only a 0.3 million tons decrease. So there has been still a lot of rebar imports as compared to the semis. This I wanted to give an overview of the installed capacities and the consumption in the GCC region. UAE itself has 5.5 million installed capacity, whereas consumption is hardly 2.8 million tons. KSA has about 7 million. It is, in 2013, it did about 6.5 million consumption. Oman presently has 1 and is going to 0.75 consumption. Other GCCs about 2.5 of rebar capacity, and they consume about 1.5. So there is still a difference of 5 million tons, approximately 4.5 million tons of material that cannot be unutilization of the installed capacity, whereas still about 1.5 million tons of rebar had come into this region in the last year. The overcapacity, as I just wanted to highlight on the rebar rolling capacity, Emirates still 2.9, Hamaria, this is practically non-functional now because they are not being able to really make much progress because of the price of billets. ET Star has been taken over presently by Emirates Steel, and there are other small producers, even including Conres, who have a total capacity of 5.5 million tons. Whereas the consumption in that region is just about shy of 3 million tons. So we expect in 2004 UAE to go to about 3 million tons, Saudi to go to about 7 million tons, Oman capacity is going to increase quite significantly to 1.5 million tons and about 0.9 million tons, other GCC 3 million tons, of which 2 million tons will be consumed. So still there would be a difference of 6 million, and I expect still about 1 million tons of rebars to come into the GCC region. I'll quickly go through the slides of the, just to give you an idea about what we have got. A tube mill I want to skip because it's more important to tell about the merchant bar mill that we have in Jazeera. We are presently producing only flats, angles, channels, rounds and squares, but by the middle of this year, we are adding the cooling line to produce rebars, and we would be able to produce up to a tune of about 7,000 to 8,000 tons per month in the near future, starting from H2 of this year. So this is just to produce that we are putting this merchant bar facilities principally because we are unable to run 24 hours with the merchant bar products that we are being able to sell. And that's the reason we are supplementing it with the rebar facility. Just to show you that the amount of billets that we have to import because of the shortage of the intermediate raw material, nearly 45% of our billets have to be imported still today. But luckily this year we are having Jindal Shadid putting up a 1.5 to 2 million ton plant, and they would be able to provide the billets for us. So in all probabilities, Oman will be self-sufficient in the requirement of billets till next year, when mostly their products, Jindal Shadi is planning to put up a rebar and a wire rod combination mill. So that would consume nearly 75 to 80% of their products. This you can just go through it when it's not very that important for what you have sales. And again, I wanted to say that what we did in the merchant bar, we couldn't really go beyond that 11,000 mark. And ultimately, on an average, we have done just about 9,500 tons per month. And that's been the total sales that we could do in that region. This is again the anti-dumping, which I'll broadly go through. So far as the rebars are concerned, the main material that are coming in are from Turkey and China. And we have tried to approach, and at various levels it has been approached. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get much success. Just to give an impression that the billets from Turkey at present are quoted at $545, whereas the rebars you can get at just about $20, $25 more. So it's very difficult for any converter to be able to really convert the material and sell in this region. I think I've carried on with the same thing. It's all available over there. But we had made an approach for the merchant products for anti-dumping, but unfortunately it was ruled out and we couldn't get any success. Whereas just before my speaker had talked about, we have been covered with this anti-dumping and CVD both for USA and China. Luckily, the ITC decision overruled the DOC's decision, and we are now without any duties over there. Canada, we have not contested, and we are not really interested in the business. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dutta. Any questions for Dr. Dutta?
Thank you very much for your presentation. My name is Khalid Abdurasool from Sharq Sohar Steel Group. I have one question. How do you see the future prospect of steel industry after 2020? In Middle East?
Yep. With the available, places like Iran and Qatar, which has a raw material in the form of gas. But in this region, there's hardly any iron ore available. So you have to be dependent on iron ore to come in over here. Though the DRI-based route is sort of a green-based route compared to the blast furnace route, as I shown you, the DRI-based routes will only come over here. What is very important is that with the iron ore not being available, it will be very difficult for the local people to compete in this particular market. And with new steel plants being quite expensive to put up, one has to be very careful about choosing the site. Still in probably Qatar and Iran. Iran has its own consumption, and Iran can import because of availability of some amount of iron ore and DRI. But putting up plants elsewhere would be quite difficult and will be uncompetitive.
Thank you. Any other questions? Chan?
Chan Orhan from SteelOrbis. Mr. Dutta, as you showed, Asian steel suppliers are very active in the Middle East in terms of sales with very competitive prices. So what would you say about cost competitiveness of steel producers in the Middle East? Do you think they can also offer prices as low as their Asian peers?
Those who have the gas or the allocation of the gas, because the gases are all subsidized. I think just the next door neighbor, Jindal Shadi, if they have the gas at the prices at what is available right now, definitely they would be competitive and they would be able to sell in that region. There is an additional 5% duty for the products that come in from any other country other than the GCC region. So that duty will help them to protect the industry. But it looks like in certain areas they're going to have an overcapacity, as I've demonstrated for UAE already, where there is huge overcapacity. And converters will not be able to really buy billets and then make the finished product. It will be very difficult for them to survive. Those who have got backward integration and with the gas-based route, they would be possibly surviving in the future.
Thank you. Any other questions? I guess no more questions. So thank you very much, Dr. Dutta.